Hi all. So today's video we want to discuss about what is the exact difference between the parameter and the variable. Both are important concepts in Azure. That is the reason I am creating this video for you. In 1 minute I will tell you what is the exact difference. The parameter means when we are working in a store procedure or we want to pass a lot of triggers into this Azure Factory for copying data. For example, we have a 10 system, one from SAP, one from SQL, one from Amazon S3, one from REST services, etc. So each services has its own trigger, right? Every day we schedule it and give the parameterized value. That trigger name is parameterized to the Azure Data Factory. But if you want to manually run it, we can give the name of the trigger there, Azure Factory, Azure Copy Activity or somewhere it will be do, right? So there we can use the parameter, and that is the importance of parameter. We can pass the value if you want. And the next one is variable. Variable means, for example, if your project is running in the 2022, you can parameterize and you can give the date of birth now using in Azure Factory. That is, we can set as a variable some kind of constant factors, enable flag or some kind of constant flag in count flag, etc. So that we can set as a default value. That is the main difference between the parameter and the variable. I think hope you're clear. In the coming video, means in the next thing, I will show you how you can define the parameters and the variables in Azure Data Factory. So hi all. So today we are moving on the pipeline, parameter and variable in the Azure Data Factory, because it is very important when we want to use these some kind of information in our hand. So I think we can move, then we can check how this parameter and variable. So that is the part. So here you can see parameter, pipeline parameter and variable. So these two concepts are really confusing in most of the people, but definitely we need to know what are the exact meaning of the, or where we can use the parameter and where we can use the variable. So yeah, so that we can start with the parameter. So first I will show you where you can see or where you can define the parameter and the variable. So where that means in the pipeline section, you can see here in the pipeline, click on this pipeline and the copy data you can see here. So in this remaining canvas, you can click here, then you will see parameter and pipeline, parameter, variable, setting, output. So here you can see the parameter. Parameter, I will give you one scenario. Parameters are normally as a trigger name or anything if you want to execute. For example, you are working in a big project that 100 people are working in a same project, and the different source of system or source of data we are taking into our pipeline. For example, copy data is the pipeline and using it will help to transfer lot of data from a SAP system, from Google BigQuery. So that kind of Salesforce system, lot of systems are there, right? SAP HANA, and Amazon, okay, Amazon S3 or REST services, anything, okay. They are taking the data and copy the data to the blob storage with the help of these pipelines. But there we can use a different trigger name. For example, the Amazon, we are using the trigger event of Amazon query. Okay, for example, I will tell you. And one more thing, if you use the SAP, it was using the trigger event SAP. So that different triggers we can use, but same pipeline we need to use, right? So that time we can be the parameters are the best option. Normally we are scheduling in the morning time based on our client. We are scheduling. So the 10 triggers, we are taking the 10 source data into this copy pipeline and the copied into the blob storage, but in the different time time frame. So that is the main difference between the taking the source. So, one, for example, the SAP system is taking at 7 a.m. in the morning. So it will take almost 30 minutes. Then we will schedule in another one because parallelly it will execute, or we can set as the time frame. So based on that one, we can give the different trigger name, because trigger we deploy when we deploy the trigger, we set the time also. Mm, what time it will be need to schedule. So that time also we definitely want to specify there. So if you once, because in the morning time complete, all the data is completed inside, because as a developer, when I log in at 10 a.m. in the IST, okay, and that time I want to run only the Salesforce data. For example, I want the Salesforce data or Amazon S3 data. So that kind of thing I want. What I did, I can click here the trigger name. I can give the parameter name here and give the trigger, then debug. Then what happened? The corresponding source of data are saved into the storage account. So that is the difference of the parameter. Then coming to the variable part, I'll show an example. In the variable, for example, you can see here variable. So variable, for example, I am getting current ID, or I am getting any data from the data source as an ID. But my requirement, I want to convert, or I want to only few data or first ID to my pipeline. So that time we can set the variable. Okay, for example, here you can string activity, get current activity, but maybe some kind of transformation also we can do there. I'm getting some data as a integer, but my pipeline is expecting a string. Then the string conversion we can do. So that is the difference between the parameter and variable. Variable we can define, because sometimes we need to set the automatic way. For example, we need only data of the 2022. So that we can set as a variable. There is no or nothing happened for that particular year, because when the starting of the January, we are only the project will complete in the 3 months. After that, we don't want to. So that time definitely we need to check. We need to check variable after 2022. But the parameter means we can get that it is automated way based on the scenario, that parameter assign the parameters assigned with the different values. So that also we can do. So I will give you one thing. So this is the one parameter. We can click create new, then string. So parameter, string, integer, float, bool, array, object, and secure string. Access parameter value. At the pipeline, to access the values, use the pipeline parameter name we can use. And the variable also, like variable also Boolean array. Access the variable at a variable, then variable name expression to access the variable value. I think this is the difference between parameter and variable. In the coming videos, we will definitely discuss about the parameter, because when we build a project from the scratch, this will mandatory. So that time we can implement it. If you have any doubt, let's comment below. I will definitely answer your each and every question. Okay, guys. So we can work on the next one.